Good evening, this is Prime Edition on KBC Channel 1, being the 12th of June 2024, the eve of the budget presentation, the largest budget yet at 4 trillion shillings. And tomorrow afternoon, we're expecting Treasury Cabinet Secretary Professor Njuguna Ndung'u to actually make that particular presentation. The question is, how does government intend to raise these funds? Those questions are going to be answered in the afternoon, and our able reporters and analysts are going to be unpacking this particular document that is going to affect how you 24 all the way to June 2025. But before we speak matters budget as well as what we have in store for you from the political scene, here's a sneak peek of what to expect.
And let's not pretend that we are what we are not. And nobody should ever feel embarrassed about your origin, your identity, and your language.
I'm proud of my heritage and will continue rooting for Mount Kenya unity, the Deputy President says as Parliament debates his new ordinary travel methods.
So welcome the support of your government in the leadership of Kenya on the mission to Haiti to restore stability in that country.
Kenya's decision to send police officers on peacekeeping mission to Haiti receives backing from several countries. Going for Omtata. MPs now accuse Senator Okiya Omtata of running ahead of his time to prematurely challenge the Finance Bill 2024. At the top of the hour, I'm Regina Manyara. This is Prime Edition, and my colleague in sign language is none other than Madam Lucy Mora. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua says the position he holds in government does not take away his right to speak his mind. Addressing those who attended the 60th anniversary celebrations of the Pharmaceutical Society of Kenya, the Deputy President said he is proud of his heritage and will continue to champion the unity of Mount Kenya region and advocate for the 1 man, 1 shilling revenue sharing formula without any shame.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua arrived at the White Sands Hotel in Mombasa to join over 800 pharmaceuticals mark 60 years of existence under the Pharmaceutical Society of Kenya. The Deputy President making it clear that his position in government does not stop him from speaking his mind.
Sasa wewe machovu ukirudi Kisii. Hata kama unaitwa president. What business do you have going to address those people there? Sio itakuwa ni majivuno na maringo. Tuache madharau. Tuache. Let's be simple people, because it's good to be simple.
Chiding those calling him a villager, Gachagua elated a light moment among attendants, saying once he gets to Nairobi and after the budget, he will be retreating to the village to be with the locals, lest he is branded an outcast.
Kila mtu wako pahali alitoka. So kila mtu wako na kwao. Hii Mombasa hii ni kiwanja ya kuja kutafuta riziki. Hii Nairobi tunaishi ni kiwanja ya kutafuta riziki. Lakini mwisho kabisa, si unajua bahari utarudi. So I don't know why anybody would have a problem with where we all come from.
Gachagua says he will not be cowed and he is not ashamed of his ethnic background and will strive for the unity of Mount Kenya region, and he will continue championing the 1 man, 1 shilling revenue sharing formula.
And let's not pretend that we are what we are not. And nobody should ever feel embarrassed about your origin, your identity, and your language. Hizo vitu ulipatiwa na Mwenyezi Mungu bure without any application. And God never told you where to be born and among which people.
On drug abuse, the Deputy President said government will remain steadfast on the crackdown of counterfeits and unlicensed practitioners, whom he termed enemies of this country.
A lot of young people, even in this town of Mombasa, getting a lot of syrups and mixing them with other things to get a very dangerous combination that is harmful to our children. I want to call upon all those professionals who run pharmacies and chemists to live up to your oath and just do the right thing. Please don't.
So far, we have done governance reforms at KEMSA. It is not operating optimally, but I know with the efforts that we are putting in place, we should be able to operate optimally.
The practitioners call for the adoption of the Pharmacy Practice Bill, the countrywide rationalization of regulations of health products and technologies, as well as increased representation in government for them to have a voice. Juni Karisambele from Mombasa County.
The National Assembly Majority Leader Kimani Ichung'wah was put to task by legislators to explain why Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua boarded a commercial airline to Mombasa for an official function. Ichung'wah, however, dismissed the claims. Gachagua has been denied access to the military chopper, adding that the DP had preferred to use the national airline for his travel. At the same time, Ichung'wah cautioned that a section of bloggers over their remarks, which he said bordered on treason.
It is these photos of Deputy President carrying his luggage and boarding the national airline, which surfaced online on Tuesday, that triggered debate in Parliament, with legislators demanding answers from the majority leader over his safety.
Honorable Speaker, this House appropriates and budgets for travels of the Deputy President, Honorable Speaker, and at no given time have we ever envisaged a situation where he takes a commercial flight.
Why we are talking as a parliament? Because it is here that we discuss matters of concern to the people. And surely, Deputy President pulling a trolley is of matters of concern to the public.
It is not unusual, because I don't know why anybody would think it's unusual for the Deputy President to travel with our national carrier, Kenya Airways. I think the only unusual thing that happened yesterday, Honorable Speaker, and maybe that may have gotten the attention of the Honorable Jared Okello, was the Deputy President towing a bag and posing for a photograph. The Deputy President was not short of staff and personnel to carry his bags, including photographers who are taking those photos, Honorable Speaker, and therefore his security was not in question at all.
Further, Ichung'wah stated that the DP had a designated aircraft at his disposal for use.
The Deputy President has a police aircraft designated for his use, which currently is under maintenance, and the Cabinet Secretary tells me in the next few weeks they will have finalized with its maintenance, but to assure the country that both the President, the Deputy President, the Office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary, from what the Minister for Defense has informed me, may in writing ask for use of military aircraft. For fuel, for wear and tear, you pay for it from the budget in your office. Only the President, as Commander-in-Chief, has unfettered access to use of military aircraft.
This comes after the DP, who arrived late at two separate presidential events, stated he had faced logistical challenges.
I have checked those facts. The day that the Honorable Okello refers to, on Madaraka Day, the Office of the Deputy President never requested through the Office of the Head of Public Service to be facilitated with a military transportation, and he opted to use other means of transportation. As to why he had to keep the President and the country waiting for 40 minutes, that, Honorable Speaker, is a matter I am not able to engage in.
The leader of the majority further scoffed at bloggers for posting content that he warned bordered on treason.
It's unfortunate that bloggers who work for senior officers of this government can post write-ups on social media, either wishing, anticipating, or praying for the occasioning of a vacancy in the office of the President, and purporting that the Deputy President is only an inch away from the presidency should anything happen to the President.
Meanwhile, the report on the Finance Bill 2024 by the National Assembly Finance Committee is set to be tabled in the House for debate next week, Tuesday. Kamchemenza for Prime Edition.
Several countries have thrown their weight behind Kenya's quest to send police officers to Haiti to restore peace in the war-torn Caribbean nation. Presenting their credentials to President William Ruto at State House, Nairobi, ambassadors from Tunisia, Chile, Peru, Egypt, Argentina and Jamaica committed to support Kenya to proceed with the planned deployment. The president told the envoys Kenya was committed to restoring order and tranquility in Haiti.
Wednesday morning at State House, Nairobi, envoys from North Africa, Latin America and from the Caribbean presented their credentials to President William Ruto. The new envoys are to represent Tunisia, Chile, Peru, Egypt, Argentina and Jamaica. The envoys were accorded military honors, the first of its kind by the Kenya Air Force led by their commander, Major General Fatma Ahmed. Then the national anthem of Kenya, and the country is represented by the 6 envoys. One after the other, the ambassadors committed to boost ties with Kenya on trade, development and climate change. The envoys recognize Kenya's effort to restore order in the Caribbean nation of Haiti.
To lead the multinational support mission to Haiti and its interest in restoring stability to Haiti. And we reaffirm Jamaica's commitment to supporting this critical mission.
We especially want to express our recognition and gratitude to the Republic of Kenya for the leadership and commitment shown in the mission of Haiti's recovery.
The decision of your government to lead a multinational security support mission in Haiti and hopes that its success will benefit the Haitian people and the Latin American and Caribbean region.
The president saying his mission was to see Haiti regain normalcy.
I also welcome the support of your government in the leadership of Kenya on the mission to Haiti to restore stability in that country.
The 6 included Anwar Ben Youssef of Tunisia, Patricio Alberto of Chile, Argentine's Luis Alejandro Levitt, Peru's Romy Sonia, Egypt's Dr. Sabit Subasic, and Jamaica's Joanne Thomas Edwards joined 16 other ambassadors and high commissioners who presented their credentials to President William Ruto in March 2024 and late last year. Present for the event was the Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, Head of Public Service Felix Kosgei, Deputy Chief of Staff Josephat Nanok, and the Principal Secretary for Foreign Affairs Korir Singoi. Abdiaziz Hashim for Prime Edition.
To the corridors of justice, where members of parliament have urged the High Court to dismiss a petition filed by Busia Senator Okier Omtata that seeks to block them from considering the Finance Bill 2024. Through their lawyer Sandra Nganyi, the National Assembly told Justice Lawrence Mugambi that some of the issues being raised by the 2 petitioners, Omtata and Eliud Matindi, were already determined in another matter filed in 2018 and are also the subject of an appeal pending at the Court of Appeal. And as Ruth Wamboi reports, the Busia senator has quickly put a rejoinder saying the current case does not relate to the other one pending at the Court of Appeal.
In a notice of preliminary objection filed by the August House and supported by the Attorney General, the MPs claim the current petition by Umtata and Matindi is premature and is challenging a bill that has not yet been passed and is still being processed by the National Assembly. The legislator said the petition is incompetent and an abuse of the court process to the extent that the petitioners are challenging a bill that is yet to be enacted.
But it's nothing like the matter not being right, but it's right the day they published the bill. Then the question came, can this bill come before the other bill? So how can that not be a right question?
However, in a brief rejoinder, Umtata said the current case doesn't relate to the one pending at the Court of Appeal, as alleged by the National Assembly lawyer Sandra Ngani.
The 2018 matter, the issue was whether the finance bill can be implemented before it is passed by Parliament. So the question was, can a bill be implemented? And the court agreed that you cannot implement a bill, it must become a law.
Justice Lawrence Mugambi has said he will deliver his ruling on 19th June. Elsewhere, activist Nuru Maloba Okanga will be detained for 5 days for allegedly publishing false information and cyber harassment.
We have, we believe we've prevailed with the court, on the seriousness of the crime, which is a compelling ground that can allow this court, PC Kamau, the opportunity, to have the suspect in custody as they complete investigation.
Present before this court, touching the matter in question.
Appearing before Senior Principal Magistrate Ben Makehubi, the DCI asked the magistrate to grant them 21 days to complete investigations.
Is because he is seen, allegedly, inciting Rigathi Gachagua to shoot the president, isn't it?
Yes.
So from that, it is not him who wants to go and shoot the president, isn't it?
It is him.
According to the prosecution, Nuru was captured in a TikTok account, uttering words which might bring tension to the country by attacking the head of state. With the prosecution citing that Nuru Okanga is part of the alleged syndicate, they want more days to come into investigations, citing that the alleged offense might amount to treason. Ruth Wamboi reporting from Milimani Lokot.
That quick executive summary of what was happening at the courts today by Ruth Wamboi takes us on our first break. Do not go away. We'll be right back.
A valuable contribution to the successful breeding of pedigree cattle is the work of the Central Artificial Insemination Station. Where distances are vast and money limited, the advantages of artificial insemination are obvious.
Unajua, token meter yako inahitaji system update. Ni rahisi na ni free. Ukipata ujumbe kutoka Kenya Power, yani SMS, weka kodi ya kwanza kureset, alafu weke kodi ya pili kuupdate ili token meter yako iendelee kufanya kazi kama kawaida. Update token meter yako. Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na Kenya Power and Lighting Company.
Nilianza kuendesha boda miaka michache iliyopita ili kuhudumia familia yangu. Sio kazi rahisi, lakini inaweka chakula mezani. Wakati huo nilifikiria siwezi kushindwa. Ningeendesha boda kwa kasi, kukwepa na kuvuka barabara ovyo ovyo. Ningefanya chochote ili kufika napokwenda haraka. Lakini siku moja nilikuwa hospitalini kwa miezi 3. Kosa moja karibu liondoe kila kitu. Mwaka moja baada ya kutoka hospitalini, nilihudhuria mafunzo ya jinsi ya kuendesha boda kwa usalama.
Boda ni life, lakini life si kitu bila usalama. Zingatia kanuni za trafiki. Hakikisha unavaa helmet na reflector jacket wakati wote.
Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na NTSA kwa ushirikiano na European Union.
Multi bonus. Zidisha ushindi wako hadi 1,000 na multi bonus 1,000%. Kwa mshindi. Mozartbet.
The 2024-2025 budget.
Understanding Kenya's debt situation and budget financing.
The economic situation.
New taxes and their implication.
Impact
on Wanjiku.
The budget conversations that matter.
Tune in to KBC Channel 1 on Thursday
at 7 a.m.
Welcome back. Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki has taken a swipe at leaders engaging in succession politics, urging them to instead focus on pushing the country's development plan. At the same time, he stated the painful decisions taken by government have since stabilized the country's economy, citing a decline in food prices such as maize flour.
We have not been able to do much. That is the honest truth. The government could not do much because we are paying debts, we are stabilizing the economy, but now going forward, you're going to see the president here, you're going to see other ministers here, PSs, and they are not just coming to visit. They will be coming to launch, commission, and bring the various projects that now we are rolling out from this financial year. But I also want to bring a message of hope that the worst days, the most painful days are now behind us.
The Kenya Revenue Authority hopes to reduce the tax burden on individuals and businesses through its amnesty program, ultimately fostering a culture of tax compliance. The taxman and its media partner, the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, staged a roadshow in Nakuru County to sensitize taxpayers in the country to take advantage of the amnesty period and update their records.
Hii ni msamaha ambao mnapewa na KRA kwa wale ambao mmepata PIN lakini hamjakuwa mkifile. Kwa hivyo mmekuwa na penalties, mmekuwa na interest, KRA imekuja kuwasamehea. Kuanzia leo mkifile, hizo madeni zote zitasamehewa. Kwa hivyo kama uko na PIN, hata kama hauna mapato, unapaswa kufile your returns kila mwaka. Labda ulichukua PIN kwa unanunua shamba, ama ulichukua PIN umefurahia umefika 18 years, ama umechukua PIN ndio uende ukafungue bank account. Hiyo PIN hata kama we ni student na uko nayo, unapaswa kufile return.
Remember kwamba wale ambao waweze kutufikia unaweza kujisajili kwa www.ajira.go.ke. Ukifika pale, teremka pale studio mashinani, book a session for free and we'll do for you free production, imagine.
All right. Now, Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Mashogu has challenged local universities to undertake cutting-edge research initiatives that will usher the country into the fourth industrial revolution. This CS has further urged institutions of higher learning to churn out students equipped with relevant skills necessary for them to contribute to the country's development agenda.
With the country currently experiencing swift technological advancements in various sectors, the Ministry of Education is challenging universities to delve deeply into the study of the use of artificial intelligence.
Where are we now in the fourth industrial revolution, where the entire world is talking about AI, robotics, which is going to be revolutionary, transformative in many ways, and we cannot be able to remain behind, and we expect the universities to take the lead in this.
CS Machogu has further asked universities to provide solutions on how to boost implementation of the competence-based curriculum and the bottom-up transformation agenda. The CS was addressing over 300 delegates attending the 4th biennial conference in Nairobi. The conference, whose theme is catalyzing systematic social transformation through research and innovation, is expected to address curriculum reform, skill development, and sustainable funding models.
It is therefore incumbent upon universities as leaders in knowledge creation, research, and innovation to find solutions to the myriad of challenges in our society.
Addressing the conference, stakeholders from public and private universities have, among others, emphasized the need for more funding towards research work in the universities and close collaboration among institutions in the area of research.
And universities can promote interdisciplinary research by breaking down traditional academic silos and encouraging collaboration across different fields and disciplines.
It is our humble appeal through our CS to the government to gradually increase the allocation to research until we reach the desired target.
Joseph Ohungu reporting for Prime Edition.
The Kenya Broadcasting Corporation has partnered with the Kenya Tissue and Transplant Authority in a blood donation drive ahead of the World Blood Donor Day, set to be commemorated on the 14th of June. The 3 days initiative is targeting to collect 600 units of blood, with over 200 units already donated. Kenyans have been urged to support the initiative and help save lives.
The second day of the drive, tens of Kenyans converged at the Kenya National Archives grounds for the noble cause. The massive mobilization is aimed at replenishing the country's blood banks.
Our aim is to collect more than 500 units of blood, 500,000 units to be specific, 540,000 per year, which is 1% of our population.
Kenya Tissue and Transplant Authority Regional Director Festus Koech, who spearheaded the drive, noted the blood collected will help Kenyans in different hospitals across the country.
After processing and screening, we issue safe blood to all the hospitals, notwithstanding private, public, mission hospitals, and even military.
Dennis Ondera, a resident in Nairobi, started the act of compassion in 2020 when his wife was about to deliver.
Nikaambiwa lazima nitafute watu wawili watatu ili ni donate blood ili msaidie wakati anaenda kujifungua. Sikupata mtu lakini nilijitolea na nikadonate blood ambayo ilitoka almost 2 liters.
His story resonating with many others who also turned up for the cause.
We realized that there are so many accidents happening, there are so many people who are sick and they are in need and dire need of blood.
Nimeweza kupata pia changamoto ya baridi kidogo, sasa kufeel kama mwili wangu hauko stable, lakini sasa kuanzia sasa I think niko na hiyo confidence, next time ndaanza kuja hapa.
Meanwhile, Cooperative University Vice Chancellor Kamau Ngamau has called on the university students to join other Kenyans in the initiative.
We have a very serious blood bank deficit in the country. At the population we have, we should be having at least 1 million pints per year donated annually.
For Prime Edition, I'm John Kahiro.
Kikohozi cha muda wowote, kutokwa na jasho kwa wingi usiku, uchungu kwenye kifua, afya kudhoofika, tafuta matibabu. Labda ni TB ni ugonjwa wa kweli. Ukipimwa matibabu yapo utapona. Daktari kushauri tumia dawa kwa nidhamu. Elimu tupashane tupige vita TB. Mwa TB, TB waishi poa.
Asanteni sana kwa kuwezesha Loto Moto kuwafikia wengi wasiojiweza kupitia *570#. Hapo umewafuta wengi machozi, umewaelimisha, umewapa makao, umewapa lishe na umewapa matibabu kwa namna tofauti.
Asanteni.
Asanteni.
Asanteni sana.
Na kwako wewe mchezaji wa Lotomoto, unajipa fursa ya kujishindia Probox nayo. Na kama Probox haikufai na umejishindia, tunakupa taslim 750,000 Kenyan shillings. Na mshindi namtangaza 30th of June. Na mwezi wa July 28th namtangaza mshindi wa Demio nayo. Na kama utaki na umeshinda, wacha gari. Chukua chapa 750,000 Kenyan shillings kwenye *570 hash. Wewe si mshindi tu, wewe ni tegemeo kubwa. Tusaidie na tushinde.
Kikohozi cha muda wowote, kutokwa na jasho kwa wingi usiku, uchungu kwenye kifua, afya kudhoofika, tafuta matibabu.
Tuseme tu namna hii, nikupatie 50 pop saa hii, utakataa?
Siwezi chukua.
Unanipa za nini? Pesa mtu anakataa.
Na kuzo utanipa za nini?
Yaani Kenya mzima ulitembea ukakosa wakili.
Sasa ndani ya estate mahali sisi naishi. Si kila mtu anaita wewe ukili. Hata watu tasituka sana saa ile hawa tabundua kumbe wewe ni mtu ya kunyang'anya watu ninyang'anya.
Kimwa TB waishi poa. TB waishi poa.
To uphold professional standards in handling patients, and this was a message during the launch of the Kenya Health Professionals Oversight Authority 2003-2004 2027-2028 strategic plan. Principal Secretary, State Department for Public Health and Professional Standards, Mary Murioke, presiding over the event, called on health professionals to uphold integrity and professionalism in discharging their duties, as well as support the rollout of the community health promoters in line with the government's shift to preventative care. Additionally, she pledged to lobby for Public Health Day in the health calendar to educate Kenyans on observing good hygiene for the public good.
In the process of the transition of the national, from NHIF to SHIF. And it is up to us from our agencies to equally get engrossed in the activities that are there.
With an estimated resource requiring up to 2.481 billion, we are committed to leverage a diverse array of funding sources, including the exchequer, appropriation in aid, and external partnership.
That the authority is mandated to facilitate resolution of complaints that the public, if they are dissatisfied with services in the health sector, where do they go? They have to report this to the Health Oversight Authority, but we have set structures on how the reporting of the complaints is done.
Now, employers have been urged to uphold the rights of employees and ensure they provide an environment where employees are respected and afforded opportunities to thrive. Speaking on the sidelines of the 112th session of International Labour Conference in Geneva, Switzerland, Labour and Social Protection Cabinet Secretary Florence Bore challenged governments to commit to strengthening laws that will advance equal opportunities for sustainable development.
Government officials, employers and worker delegates from the International Labour Organization's 187 member states have converged in Geneva, Switzerland for the 112th session of the International Labour Conference to address a wide range of issues, especially the protection of workers' rights. Speaking on the sidelines of the meeting, Cabinet Secretary for Labour and Social Protection Florence Bore called for a renewal of social contracts to help move towards decent work and social justice.
We are here just to ensure that we know what Kenyan workers should be able to have and what are we going to engage in going forward. Ours as a ministry is to ensure that we get solutions. We have problems that we have had, especially during the floods, where Kenyans have lost lives, Kenyans have lost property, Kenyans have lost shelter, and we want to look for ways on how to engage them and ensure that they get social justice.
Bore also held bilateral talks with several countries including China, India, Kazakhstan, Kuwait to further talks on labor migration to create job opportunities for the Kenyan unemployed youth.
And as Kenya, our focus is on the world of work, is generally to ensure Kenyans are able to get work within Kenya and outside Kenya.
The agenda for this year's International Labour Conference includes a standard-setting discussion on protection against biological hazards, a general discussion on decent work and the care economy, and a recurring discussion on the strategic objective of fundamental principles and rights at work. The meeting began on 3rd of June and ends on Friday, the 14th of June 2024. For Prime Edition, I'm Alvin Kaunda.
Cabinet Secretary for Information, Communication and the Digital Economy, Eliud Owalo, said the government will fast-track the adoption of artificial intelligence and data in implementing land reforms while safeguarding the integrity and security of the process. The CS said AI technology will get rid of cartels who thrive in defrauding citizens of their land and cases of missing files, among others.
The third Regional Research Conference opened its doors Tuesday at the Kenya School of Government in Kabete, Nairobi County. This year's theme is Data, Innovation and Technology for Land Governance.
Who also, in overseeing matters of digitization across all sectors, is also helping us have ideas on how we benchmark. What challenges have there been in digitization in other sectors?
And now we are creating a huge database, and we want to work with the partnership with the National Land Commission so that we have the technical expertise and also the social expertise. So as a university, we are hands-on and we also work in the communities.
Cabinet Secretary for Information, Communication and Digital Economy, Eliud Owalo, said the government will continue to redouble its efforts to fast-track the adoption of artificial intelligence in land reforms.
There is a wide array of opportunities for partnership between the Ministry of ICT and the Ministry of Lands on one hand and the National Land Commission on the other. And we need to work together. In fact, failure is not an option.
Experts in the conference will identify and discuss policy recommendations and best practices that can contribute to the improvement of land governance, sustainable land use, and the recognition of land rights.
There are cartels, there are fraudsters, there are many people, both out and inside, who are not happy with transparency through digitization. But that will be a thing of the past.
Work with us in partnership so that in the process you ensure that we get customized training for all those involved in all aspects of land management.
Now let's head to theatre, where mental health awareness in men is celebrated annually in the month of June. And filmmakers are harnessing the power of cinema to shine a spotlight on men's mental health issues through compelling narratives and authentic portrayals, such as film Shadows, which is our focus tonight on the segment Cinemas and Theatre. This aims to educate audiences on the often overlooked mental health challenges that men face.
Are you threatening me?
Shadows, a film by Wape Production based in Nakuru County, is one that delves deep into the complexities of mental health in men.
Gotcha! Which way are you going? He's already said he's sorry. What else do you want him to do?
Underscoring the critical need for awareness and support. Through the character of JD, a successful finance manager.
Well, I guess you already know who I am, so what else do you want to know?
Haunted by traumatic past, the film illuminates the profound impact unresolved trauma can have on one's mental well-being.
Could you share with me the reason why you're here today?
JD, I am not my father.
JD's journey through therapy, where he confronts painful memories of his father's death ethnic profiling and mistreatment by his uncle serves as a powerful narrative on the importance of addressing mental health issues head-on.
The film Shadows is another way of communicating the message of mental wellness using the film. And this is particularly to communicate it to the youth, and more so male gender, who are worst hit by this condition.
Men are interesting creatures when it comes to mental health, because the way men process issues of mental health or their emotional response is completely different with women. So that also has to be captured in the story so that you correctly represent what a man will go through. And we decided to take that aspect of telling the story of men because it is not widely represented, especially in the art scene.
The cast include Justin Miriji as JD, Eutychus Mutanya as Timbo, J.K. Wawero as Raphael, Mera Boydera as Sylvia, Dr. Gigi Kavera as Dorothy, Lydia Gitachu as Roslyn, among others. J.K. Wawero was part of the cast and talks about how he prepared for his role.
I did have some time to talk to the writer specifically and get his mind on what he thought when he was writing the role and what the idea behind the character Raphael was. There was also a bit of research on the profession that he's in, that is Raphael, and how that, with the time that it is set in, how that would affect his family as well.
Film production is not an easy process. We are not as big as Hollywood, but at our level, it's still tedious. There's a lot of work involved. And when you bring creatives together, also the creative minds must clash. So there was a clashing of ideas, but eventually we came to common grounds. People have to deliver. You have to push the crew to deliver. And sometimes it does not go well with them. Same thing with the actors. You take them to heights and limits they are not used to.
In my office right now.
The makers of the film Shadows note that the film not only portrays the struggle and inner turmoil that many men face, but also emphasizes the transformative power of seeking help and the importance of mental health awareness.
People who are mostly affected, they even never attend to trainings, they never attend to seminars, they never attend to talks that are focused on helping them to sort the issue of mental wellness. So film is a good way, even for such kind of people, but it's not just restricted to them.
If people connect even to any of the characters, that whatever the end goal is of the film becomes their own also. It becomes the result that they get out of it. Because I think, just as the producer said, there is something that we offer as a solution. We really hope that that works for them.
The production is a Nakuru production, so we saw it well to premiere it in Nakuru. A hotel called Mboita Hotel. On 22nd, we're going to premiere it for the first time. If you want tickets, you can get tickets from ticketbase.com.
As we celebrate mental health awareness in men this June, the film Shadows stands as a vital reminder of the necessity to provide an environment where men can openly discuss about their challenges. Jacqueline Masharia for Cinemas and Theatre.
Back to the future. The future is simulate. Bet smarter. Win faster now. Be a winner. Mozart Bet.
Je, una malimbikizi ya ushuru? Mamlaka ya utozaji ushuru nchini KRA inakupa msamaha wa adhabu na riba ya ushuru kufikia tarehe 31 Disemba 2022 kupitia Tax Amnesty Program. Ili kujua jinsi ya kupata msamaha, jiunge nasi kwenye maonyesho ya barabarani kote nchini ukiletewa na KRA kwa ushirikiano na KBC. Pia tutakuelekeza jinsi ya kujaza fomu za ushuru na kujisajili kwa eTims, mfumo mpya unaokusaidia kutoa risiti za kidijitali kwa njia rahisi. Ijumaa tarehe 14 Juni, msafara wetu utaingia kaunti ya Uasin Gishu katika maeneo ya Cheptiret, Langas, 64 Stadium, Chepkoilel Junction, Juakali na Eldoret Town. Kisha Jumamosi tarehe 15 Juni tutatembelea kaunti ya Trans Nzoia, maeneo ya Soi, Nangili, Matunda, Moisbridge, Kitale, Cherangani, Endebess, Kiminini, Kwanza na Saboti. KRA, tulipe ushuru, tujitegemee.
A very good evening to you. Thank you for keeping it Prime Edition. Time for the latest in the world of business. My name is Betty Kiptum. Now, the National Treasury Cabinet Secretary, Professor Njuguna Ndung'u, is Thursday afternoon expected to present a 4 trillion shilling national budget. According to the draft budget, the national government could get 2.2 trillion shillings. The Consolidated Fund Services, that is mainly used for servicing debts, gets 1.2 trillion shillings, while counties will share out 400 billion shillings.
The overall total gross expenditure for the financial year 2024-2025 is projected at 4.006 trillion shillings, of which the executive arm has been allocated 2.24 trillion shillings. This comprises recurrent allocation of 1.5 trillion shillings and development expenditure at 724.4 billion shillings. The judiciary has been allocated about 23.6 billion shillings, while Parliament is to receive 44 billion shillings. The Consolidated Fund Services, that is mainly used for debt repayment as well as pensions and some salaries for constitutional offices, has been earmarked 1.2 trillion shillings. The draft budget projects revenue collection at 3.3 trillion shillings, with the difference bridged by borrowing comprising net borrowing at 300 billion shillings and net external borrowing of 306 billion shillings. Education is expected to get the lion's share of the budget at about 700 billion shillings. Roads earmarked 178 billion shillings and health gets 128.7 billion shillings. Among the notable inclusions in the proposed 2024-2025 budget is an introduction of a motor vehicle tax at 2.5% of the value of the vehicle, or a minimum of 5,000 shillings and capped at 100,000 shillings. Standardizing VAT, introduction of eco-levy on electronics, diapers, lithium batteries and tires. The bill further proposes a lifting of the restriction on the sale of affordable housing units without the consent of the Affordable Housing Board, meaning, if passed, one will be able to buy and sell units under the Affordable Housing Program.
Still on the budget-making process is a systematic and structured procedure involving multiple stakeholders such as the executive, Parliament and the public. The budget-making process is guided by the 2010 Constitution and the Public Finance Management Act of 2012. Here is Trevor Ngendo with a detailed chronological breakdown of the budget-making process.
The budget preparation process is initiated by the National Treasury, marking the first stage that happens between 30th of August to 30th of April. The National Treasury issues the budget circular to government ministries, departments and agencies outlining guidelines, timelines, policy priorities and expenditure ceilings for the preparation of budget estimates. Sector working groups comprising representatives from ministries, departments and agencies are formed to review sectoral policies and projects, ensuring budget proposals align with national priorities. The National Treasury prepares a draft budget policy statement outlining the government's fiscal policy, priorities and budget framework for coming financial year. The National Treasury prepares a draft budget policy statement outlining the government's fiscal policy, priorities and budget framework for the coming financial year that is submitted to Parliament by 15th of February. Ministries, departments and agencies justify their funding requests before the National Assembly and engage the public to gather input and feedback on budget proposals. Then they submit their budget proposals to the National Treasury for consolidation. The second stage is allocation and approval, which happens between 1st of May to 30th of June. During this period, the National Treasury prepares a final draft budget policy statement, which is reviewed by the National Assembly's Budget and Appropriations Committee after input from ministries, departments and agencies and the public. The final budget estimates are detailed in the budget statement. The Cabinet Secretary for the National Treasury presents the budget policy statement on the second Thursday of June. This is followed by parliamentary debate and approval, where the National Assembly debates the budget statement and the accompanying appropriation bill, which authorizes the government to withdraw funds from the consolidated fund for specific purposes. Trevor Ngendo for Prime Edition.
Now, players in the digital services sector are opposed to introduction of the significant economic presence tax in this year's budget as a replacement of a digital services tax, under which taxable profit shall be deemed to be 20% of the gross turnover and income tax charged at the rate of 30%. On the other hand, financial service providers say the proposed increase of both excise duty and VAT on financial services could slow growth of the sector and negatively affect financial inclusion. Regina Manyara has compiled views from various businesses and professionals on how the measures proposed in this year's budget are likely to affect the different economic sectors.
Honest, financial services are already subject to excise duty at 15%. The understanding when excise duty was being introduced is because VAT was not levied on these financial services. There's even a proposal to revise this excise duty rate from 15% to 20%. So levying additional 16% on them will basically take the transactional taxes on financial services to give or take 39%.
Our digital services tax, which is currently at 1.5%, but the way the bill is framed, in a lot of words, is to increase the rate from 1.5% to actually 6%. That's what we're trying to do. And while this is informed by what is happening globally, either at the OECD level and what other countries are doing, we want to have the significant economic presence tax go together with minimum top-up tax. And basically the election at a global level is to decide, do you want to do digital services tax or do you want to do minimum top-up tax? So that if we go the digital services tax route, then we don't go through the route of global minimum tax.
Plastics are subject to excise tax, glass is subject to excise tax, cartons are subject to excise tax, which are critical components in a finished excisable good product. We are saying that the credit be extended both to raw materials and also to packaging materials.
A number of investors have already put in their money for construction of these houses on the understanding that the tax that they are to pay is 15%, and therefore repealing this particular preferential tax rate then creates a problem. And therefore, Chair, we propose that we put a proviso that the 15% will continue to apply so long as the construction company had received the applicable licenses from the county government before the commencement of this proviso.
Harmonize the due date of the payment of withholding taxes to 20th. I know we had put it on to 10th, but further consultations, we are saying anything withholding, we should harmonize it to 20th.
Moving on, Kenya Power is calling for the lifting of the moratorium on onboarding new power purchasing agreements. Speaking at the launch of the Update Token Meter Yako campaign, which will see 7.4 million prepaid customers update their token gadgets, Kenya Power Managing Director Joseph Siror says more independent power producers are needed to boost electricity generation.
In 2020, a moratorium was placed that barred Kenya Power from onboarding new independent power producers to pave the way for investigations into the existing agreements that have been blamed for expensive electricity. A year ago, the cabinet lifted the moratorium, but the decision was halted by Parliament. Kenya Power has underscored the need to onboard more independent power producers to plug the decreasing reserve margin, especially with an interconnected grid.
I think it is time we start saying we need more of IPPs. Because when we look at the difference between our total generation, or rather our available generation, vis-a-vis our peak power, which stands at 2177. And I think I've been monitoring the peak, and there are instances where it even goes to over 2200. But for us to recognize a peak, it needs to be sustained for 30 minutes.
Cyril was speaking during the launch of the Update Token Meter Yako campaign.
Prepaid meters
which requires all 7.4 million prepaid customers to update their token gadgets by August this year to continue accessing electricity.
It will not be possible to use tokens that were generated previously. So at the point before you update your meter, ensure all previously purchased tokens have been put into the meter so that they will be usable. If your meter still has some tokens, will those tokens be lost? No. Those tokens will be recognized upon update.
Cyril says the token meter update is part of an ongoing global exercise targeting all prepaid meters.
Utilities such as Kenya Power that uses STS-compliant prepaid meters are required to update their meters for them to continue accepting tokens.
The update will not impact tokens already loaded to the meter. Weri Mujenga for Prime Edition.
Professionals from the Nyanza region should play a leading role in driving the economic development of the region. Information Communications and the Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary Eliud Owalo says professionals can help in identifying and tapping the immense investment and business opportunities in the Nyanza region.
6 counties in the Nyanza region, namely Kisumu, Siaya, Homa Bay, Migori, Kisii and Nyamira, have a combined population of about 7 million people. The region is endowed with immense investment and business opportunities that are largely untapped.
We have traditionally left the development agenda of this country in the hands of the national government and the county government. But there's also some bit we can play, a role we can play as professionals, so that we help augment the efforts of the 2 levels of government.
Speaking during the stakeholder engagement with engineering professionals from the region regarding the upcoming preparations for the inaugural Nyanza International Investment Conference, Owalo said several investment opportunities will be highlighted during the 2-day conference to be held in Kisumu.
So far, we have had a meeting, Jeff has told you, with the European Union. We met over 30 ambassadors from the EU. They have promised to bring on board investors to the conference so that we see if we can match the expectations of the investors with the economic opportunities in Nyanza.
Investors are keen on development of infrastructure to fuel trade and foot traffic to the region.
If we are talking about road projects in Nyanza, Kenya National Highways Authority will be there. Kenya Rural Roads Authority will be there. Kenya Urban Roads Authority will be there. It's an opportunity for you to network with them so that you get to understand what programs or projects they have in Nyanza.
To support the blue economy sector, the government is constructing a 3 billion shillings aquaculture center in Kisumu, besides modernizing fish landing sites to support the fishing community. Alanauko, Prime Edition.
And that is all we had prepared for you on the business desk this evening. Of course, sports news is coming up with Bernard Okumu. My name is Betty Kiptum. Good night.
Sports News is brought to you by Mozart Bet.
Glad that you are watching Prime Edition. Time to get sporty with me, Bernard Okumu. Let's begin with tennis, where hosts Kenya, top seed South Africa, and third seed Nigeria will be in a 3-way battle to earn promotion to the Billie Jean King Cup Europe Africa Group 2 after they topped their respective pools in the ongoing Africa Group 3 tournament at the Nairobi club.
Kenya top Pool B in the Billie Jean King Cup Africa Group 3 tournament after beating Burundi 2-1 at the Nairobi club. Cynthia Cheruto Wanjala defeated Hosian Kitambala 6-4, 6-1 in the opening singles match, followed by a 6-4, 6-4 victory for Angela Okutoi against Sada Nahimana. Burundi got a consolation victory in the doubles after Nahimana and Kitambala defeated Rose leader Sumo and Stacey Yego by 2-1, of 6-3, 5-7 and 10-7.
Yeah, as we said, no small team or big team. We take each team the same way, and we are ready, as we said since the beginning, and we're just going to take each day one at a time, each country, each player, and each point. And yeah, we are ready. We're ready for the battle and ready to fight on the court, and that's what we've been doing and working really hard. So we can't wait to play either Nigeria or South Africa tomorrow.
My match was good. I'm happy I won the first game, and I was 0-3 down, and I worked my best. And today my serve were going in. I was trying, and my teammates supporting, even coach when I was down.
South Africa topped Group A after defeating Zimbabwe 2-1 in the final pool match.
Obviously, everyone wants to get promoted to the next group, but we're honestly just working with each other together. We're just focusing on each of our strengths and just working around everything and just making sure that we're able to kind of perform the next day or for the matches that we're going to play.
Third seed Nigeria joined the three-way contest for promotion after a 2-1 win over Botswana in Pool C.
The goal is to win. There is no other goal for us. The goal for us is to win and to qualify for Group 2.
Kenya, Nigeria and South Africa have been drawn in the promotion round-robin phase, with Kenya and Nigeria commencing the playoff series on Thursday. The winner of this pool will earn promotion to the Europe-Africa Group 2 when the tournament comes to a close on Saturday. For Prime Edition, I am Daniel Wahome.
And now to athletics, where former World and Commonwealth Games javelin champion Julius Yego will be out to defend his title in the Africa Senior Athletics Championship set for 21st to 26th of June this year in Douala, Cameroon, after being named in the Kenyan team scheduled to start residential training tomorrow at Kasarani ahead of the championships.
Julius Yego was among the triumphant Kenyan athletes who won the overall title in Mauritius in the year 2022 when he won the javelin throw by 79.62 meters. He'll be accompanied by Methuselah Kiprop. Decathlete Edwin Kimitai too has also made the team that will also see the 4x400 relay team of Boniface Mweresa, Zablon Ekwam, who attained his Olympic qualifying mark, Brian Onyari and David Sanayek out to retain the title and attain a new record as well. Marco Tieno and Meshak Babu will compete in the 100 meters, while the duo of Mike Mokamba and Samuel Chege will compete in the 200 meters. Former world silver medalist Stanley Waithak will be looking forward to do the honors in the 5,000 meters with Levi Kibet. African Games silver medalist Kipng'etich Ng'eno and Nicholas Kiplagat, who will lead the Kenyan team in the 800 meters with Africa Games champions Brian Komen and Kipregut Boaz, hoping to retain the title in the 1500 meters won by Abel Kipsang. Mary Nyaruai, who was outstanding in the national championship, will hope to make it to a Kenyan double after making the team in the women's 1,500 meters with Caroline Nyaga, who won the 10,000 meters in Mauritius in the year 2022. Marcy Chepkemoi and Teresia Gatheri will compete in the 5,000 meters team, where they hope to retain the title won by world record holder Beatrice Chebet, with Esther Bagari dabbling in the 100 and 200 meters. Same for Veronica Mutua, who will compete in the 400 meters as well as the relay. Rukia Nusra will be the lone ranger in the 100-meter hurdles, with Margaret Gatti and 2021 World Under-20 champion Harrison Wanyonyi making the cut in the 20-kilometer walk.
And top seeds Jairus Kipkosgei and Alphas Makut of Prisons Kenya will lead Kenyan charges in the upcoming 2024 Paralympic Games Africa Beach Volleyball qualifiers slated for 18th to 23rd of June in Morocco. Now, the talented duo were named by Kenya Volleyball Federation in a 4-man squad that also boasts of Brian Meli of GSU and Edward Kibet. The women's squad has regulars Gaudensia Makoha and Naomi To, Yvonne Wavinya and debutant Charlene Sembel. The men's team will be under the tutelage of former Kenya men's volleyball team captain Ibrahim Odur, while Sally Wanjala will coach the women's team. Kenya Forest Service men's volleyball team tactician Washira Gatuiria was named the team manager. Now, the team is currently camping in Mombasa and is expected to leave the country this weekend for the continental assignment. And to basketball, where the Kenya Under-18 men and women's teams to the FIBA Under-18 Zone 5 qualifiers are through to the semi-finals scheduled tomorrow at the Lugogo Indoor Arena in Kampala, Uganda, where they will meet their Rwandese counterparts, hoping to avenge their losses at the group stage.
The Kenya under-18 men's basketball team lost their opening match to Rwanda by 52-81 baskets before they recovered to beat Tanzania 95-81. They, however, lost their third match to Uganda, who beat them 86-58. The women's team, on the other hand, won their opening match against Tanzania, whom they beat 57-47, but lost their next games to Uganda, who beat them 97-47, and Rwanda, who beat them 56-47.
They're down by 3 points. Very good ball movement. Oh, to the basket, block shot. Oh my goodness.
Uganda will face Tanzania in the second women's semi-finals, while Tanzania will play Uganda in the other men's semi-finals.
Oh, very good rebound. Offensive rebound. Next time she does that, it's going to be a technical foul.
The six-day championship comes to an end on Friday in Kampala, Uganda, with the best teams securing a slot in the 2024 FIBA Under-18 African Championships, slated in South Africa in August.
Seconds to the end of she goes behind the back with the handles there.
Well, to rally now, where the World Motorsport Council has confirmed dates for the 2024 Equator Africa Rally Championship, which will be held from the 29th of November to 1st of December. Now, the Equator Rally, which was earlier scheduled to run between 29th to 30th June in Naivasha, was postponed following a spate of heavy rains in Kenya and constant flooding, which made it impossible for the organizers of the rally to plan for it. The World Motorsport Council approved the new dates when they convened at Samarkand in Uzbekistan yesterday. Kenyan Karan Patel and his navigator Tosif Khan are the reigning Africa Rally champions after winning the series last year in a Ford Fiesta Rally 2 car. They were off to a good start this season when they won the Pearl of Africa Rally in Uganda, with the next Africa Rally Championship held in Zambia from 26th to 28th of July. And to football, where Kenya has been dislodged by Burundi from the third position in the Group F standings following their 3-1 victory away to Seychelles in the CAF FIFA World Cup qualifiers at Municipal de Berkane Stadium in Morocco. The Swallows have now moved to the third position with 7 points, as Kenya dropped to fourth with 5 points following their barren draw with reigning champions Ivory Coast.
Sudi Abdallah put the visitors ahead in the 34th minute before Bienvenu Kanakimana scored a brace in the second half to seal the score sheet. Lorenzo Horo tried to put Seychelles back in the game in the 78th minute, but it was not enough, as they had remained winless and pointless following the 3-1 defeat by Burundi.
And there's the goal back for the Seychelles.
Gabon were made to sweat by Gambia at home before they overcame them 3-2 in the other Group F match in Franceville. The Panthers are still occupying the second position in the group, a point adrift of leaders Ivory Coast, who have 10 points now after their frustrating draw against Harambee Stars. Gambia are fifth with 3 points before they host Kenya next year.
There is a goal back for the away team.
There were other exciting qualifiers across the continent, whereby Sudan thrashed South Sudan 3-0 in Group B, which they lead with 10 points. The indomitable Lions of Cameroon were held to a 1-1 draw by Angola, but still held on to the lead in Group D with 8 points. Cape Verde, who are fourth in the group, defeated second-placed Libya by a solitary goal, while fifth-placed Mauritius overcame Eswatini 2-1. Rwanda beat Lesotho by a solitary goal to take control of Group C with 7 points, followed by South Africa with the same number of points after they secured a 3-1 victory over Zimbabwe. Benin has dropped to third with 7 points too. Morocco thrashed Congo 6-0 to extend their lead in Group E, where they have 9 points after an unbeaten run.
And further afield, where Cristiano Ronaldo scored a brace as Portugal beat Republic of Ireland 3-0 in their last international friendly match at Estadio Municipal de Aveiro ahead of the European Championship, which kicks off this Friday in Germany. Joao Felix put Portugal ahead in the team before Zolis doubled the score for the visitors 8 minutes later. Liverpool's youngster Conor Bradley scored a double as Northern Ireland defeated Andorra 2-0, while Ukraine thrashed Moldova. Well, and that's it from the sports desk this hour. I'm Bernardo Kumu. Have a good night.
Sports News was brought to you by Mozart Bet.
You can lift the plane. The higher you fly, the higher your win. The sky is the limit. Mozart Bet.
Well, that puts a cap on Martins Prime Edition this midweek. Be sure to tune in as early as 6:30 a.m. tomorrow as we unpack the proposed Finance Bill 2024. Remember, it has been going through public participation. Kenyans are waiting with bated breath if indeed their views are going to be taken into consideration at a time when the cost of living is one of the issues that Wanjiku wants addressed. We have quite the team that is going to be unpacking this. That is also going to include analysts, tax experts, and economists. So do keep it right here for the budget analysis, Budget 2024-2025. That's a wrap tonight. See you tomorrow. I'm Regina Manyara. Have a pleasant evening ahead. And my colleague, Madam Lucy Maura, equally says, have a pleasant evening.